Join our incredible moms who have mastered the art of balancing motherhood in today's episode of We Time Convo.
My name is Debbie.
This is Liza.
Moms sharing inspiring stories, practical tips, and a few hilarious anecdotes. And it all begins now.
Liza, happy anniversary.
Can you believe it's been 1 year?
No, I cannot.
Oh my gosh, there's so much that has happened.
Yes, a 1 year anniversary is huge for us, right? Because to be honest, I didn't think that we would really last, and I didn't think that I would really enjoy this.
I think we're coming on strong. So when Irene approached us, about doing this podcast,
yes,
when she approached me, I was, thinking like, okay, well, this will be fun. This is something that, I can put some time, maybe a little bit of effort into, but it's all in good fun, right?
Yes. And
when she first approached me, I was like, you're going to be hosting with me, right? And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, am I doing this by myself? And so she recommended you. I was like, oh, that's great. Cause we are a perfect balance, of a conversation podcast, I feel like.
I remember she approached me. I honestly 100% did not expect it at all. She just like, hey, Debbie, I wanted to talk to you about something. And I'm like, okay, well, open. Nowhere did it come to mind that it was going to be co-hosting on a podcast. And when she told me you would be my co-host and that she had, because from my understanding, she approached you first. I did not know about it.
I think she approached me because I actually was on the Young Discord podcast, which is her kids' podcast, which actually is a pretty good podcast if you guys want to go back and listen to it. Honestly, I don't think they don't do it anymore, but I was on there as a guest.
Yes. And so when she told me, I'm like, oh, and here's the thing. We obviously are friends and we've became like friends, family because of obviously our kids. But obviously when our kids were younger and they've grown, we don't hang out as much. But then we obviously still keep in touch. And so when she said you'd be co-hosting with Liza, I'm like, oh, this is going to be pretty cool because it's been a while since you and I have actually worked together. We've worked together on actually school events, but it's been a while that you and I have worked together. And I think there's a lot of common things that we have. But then obviously, as you mentioned, there's a lot of different aspects that we have as well, because I think both you and I kind of veer towards each other because we've been single moms. Mm-hmm. And so, but then obviously from a professional standpoint, we do different things. And I'm probably a little bit more of like a type A personality.
Yeah.
And you're a lot more very fluid, right? Yeah. And so I thought that our mix would be really good. And so I was really excited about us doing this together. And I feel like the more and more we do it, the more and more we get comfortable with our own perspective of life. And so I just feel like this was so unexpected for me. And so I really enjoy it. I really do.
It's been, a part of me. And because of this podcast, I've gotten to know you better, and Irene, we've gotten really close, and it's just a really good excuse for us to get together and catch up, right? And also our other mom friends.
Yes.
And we've learned so much from our guests.
Yes.
I've learned so much about my coworkers, and they've learned so much about me that I would have never known that there's a whole new side to them other than work.
Well, this is crazy for me because it never was on my radar. As I had mentioned, I'm a type A personality. So there's a lot of things that I obviously do because I thought about it. I planned it. It's in my schedule, right? Of what I, want to accomplish. This was not on my list.
And we like surprises here. So I mean, and how do you like it in your life so far?
I like it because, Irene makes it easy. I think you and Irene make it really easy for me, especially in the time of life that I'm in right now. I just had gotten engaged. I was traveling. I was planning a wedding, and there was a lot of things happening. And when I took this on, my husband was like, "Are you sure you want to take this on? Because we have a lot going on." And I said, yeah, it's, we're meeting once a week. We're doing the recording every other week. Actually, it was every other week. And like, it was easy. It was easy to do. And like you said, you learn a lot. In a lot of ways, I feel like it's very therapeutic. I learned a different skill. I honed in, like it created stronger relationships. Like I'm very proud of doing this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and we originally started as just like a parenting podcast.
Yes.
And
it's evolved.
Yeah. And it's branched out into just, I mean, there are a lot of parenting things. We do have parents on here, but we talk about all kinds of different things. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback from listeners that, a lot of our episodes have been helpful, informative. So, I love what we do. And we have a new season coming up, right? So, again, we're coming at the end of this first season here, which we're 50 plus episodes in.
I know. That? Can you believe it?
A lot.
Yes.
We're going to take a break in August, but we're also branching out as well. So we have our YouTube channel that will be coming out, which I'm really excited about. And, Irene being like this big dream person, she has so many big dreams and projects for this podcast. Mom brain. And we're just so excited to just bring this to you guys.
Yes, no. And actually, as I think back, right, like I'm very proud of what we've accomplished, but I really look forward to like all these dreams and plans that Irene has and she's putting out there. But when I think back of the last year, what I really enjoy is the opportunity, like you said, of making connections. But, one in particular is bringing our guests, such as the younger viewers. We've had our teenagers come on. I've had my partner come on, Peter, and just our friends. And as you mentioned, coworkers,
you've had Donna
right?
Come on, your sister,
like
my cousin.
It's like, it's pretty cool, like what we can do and share. And, it's just learning. And like you said, we started off as kind of a parenting podcast, but it's definitely branched out to things that I think that capture us, because obviously outside of our recordings, we're communicating with each other and, we'll talk about, hey, did you guys read this article? Or, oh, hey, did you watch this on Netflix? And it really brings out kind of like other interests outside of the parenting. So when I look back, I can't believe that we've been consistent. Like we've really been very consistent. There's very few times that we've ever really canceled. I don't think that we really canceled. We may not have been able to attend here and there, but we've always been very fluid enough to be able to get a guest speaker.
Which is great. Like,
yes.
Yeah, our guest hosts have been amazing and they've all been really good.
Yes. One thing I do miss though is the fact that Irene used to have like really good treats for us when we first started.
Oh yeah, she would lay out food, but we got scolded by our editor because our chewing.
Yes, but I get it. But that's one of the things that I do miss.
I mean, and the fact that like Irene just opened up her house to us every other week, and let us record here is actually, and have guests come in is. Yeah, it's amazing. So
yes,
she also has different plans for that. So we'll see how that will pan out.
Yes, well, I'm really excited because me, I'm always like I like always to do the fun stuff, right? The fun stuff, which is like our plan is to obviously celebrate our 1 year, and so I'm really looking forward to just getting our past speakers together and just thanking them for being a part of our podcast. So I'm really looking forward to that event.
I mean, and sharing their experiences, because a lot of the stuff is is out
very
there. Very personal. It's very out there. So yeah, that would be great if we could hopefully soon have a big party.
Yes.
Well, not a big party, but a party.
Yes.
Celebrating our guests and our guest co-hosts. But we do have a lot of exciting things happen other than, the YouTube channel. And a lot of, we already have our schedule, or a lot of the schedule for next season.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple of them we want to do, we were thinking about doing a couple of series. So for example, we'll continue to do kind of your series on sports.
Oh yeah, my Clueless Sports. Yeah, there's so many things out there that I don't know. We were just talking, me and Irene were like, she's like, what other things? I'm like, wrestling,
So right now soccer is really hot. So have you been watching soccer?
No, I have not.
No.
Yeah.
Copa's on.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean, so see that. Like,
yeah.
Soccer. So there's so many other sports. So yes, expect a lot of, Liza being clueless with sports segments.
Yes.
Coming up in the future.
And we're looking, now that we're looking at a YouTube channel, one of the series is, Can Debbie Cook?
Debbie can cook. Debbie can cook. So, I mean, if you recall in the earlier episodes, I forget which episode, but Debbie was saying that she doesn't cook. That's not her thing.
It's not my thing.
So I think what we are planning to do is, give her a recipe, have her follow it, and have maybe Peter or maybe Vanessa try it and give us their honest opinion.
I actually had to remind Vanessa, I've tried to make adobo 3 different times and it's still not working. And it's like the easiest dish to make.
It's not easy. I mean, you have to have that perfect balance. Those of you who don't know, adobo is a Filipino dish, right? And it consists of the vinegar and soy sauce. But you have to have that perfect balance.
Yes, and I have not found it.
It's hard. It's not easy.
It is not easy, but everybody says it should be, and it's not. And I've tried, and my poor husband is
we'll try it again. Maybe that will be our first dish.
Yes. Adobo.
Yeah.
So Debbie can cook.
And we're actually going to have another book author coming on. He is actually a author of a graphic novel or memoir. So keep a lookout for that. And I actually have the book here. Can I say the book? No? Okay, so that will be a surprise. But I'm actually looking at the book here and it looks amazing. So there's also another guest there and also maybe another special event coming that will include this guest as well. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, this looks amazing.
All this is coming out of Irene's pretty little head.
Yes.
That she's just coming up with all these ideas and thoughts and projects and plans. So I'm really looking forward to the new year. But as I reflect on the year as passed, I'm really proud of what we've been able to do.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yes.
And like you said, I couldn't imagine it, taking this podcast this far, but I think all of it is Irene, right?
Yes.
And, and when we were in Europe, we were having dinner and I asked her, I said, how long do you want to do this? How long do you plan on doing this, Irene? And she's like, maybe about 3 years is good. And I was like, 3 years? We've only had 1 year.
Yeah.
But, I think about it and I'm like, this is such a great thing or resource to have because this is pretty much like my personal diary. I started this as a single mom, co-parent, I started co-parenting with David. I started being out in the dating world and, they're kind of tidbits out there about updates about where I've been through. And, these are things that my kids can listen to as well.
Yes.
To get parenting advice. Yes. Or just listen to what's been going on in my life.
Yes.
For however long we do this.
It's an open diary.
Yes. And I've learned so much. We've had so much special guests here and I'm like, 3 years, we could do it.
Yeah.
And it's just been an amazing, incredible experience. And I couldn't have asked for Irene to ask me to do this at a better time in my life. I mean, it wasn't at the best time, but I feel like it's gotten me through specific aspects of my life.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
You're gonna make me cry, Irene.
I love that. Yeah. I love it. I think the timing is important. Obviously, I was transitioning from being single to being engaged and now married. And then I'm also dealing with my daughter, being an adult. A lot of things are happening and it's being solidified on this podcast. I think what blows me away, honestly, is the fact that I didn't plan this. I didn't plan
you said this 3 or 4 times
because it blows me away. You don't understand. My life is just so planned. The most precious thing that you have outside of your health is time. Right. And I'm a true believer of that. And so as I've gotten older, I'm much more cognizant of my time and where I put my time. And so because of that, I'm very thoughtful of what I'm going to do. Right. And so that's why this blows me away because it is so unexpected. It wasn't a plan, but I am so proud of it. Sure, we don't have 1 million followers, but I'm proud of what yet. Yes.
We don't have a sponsor yet.
Yes. But I'm so proud of the journey that we're on, where we were and what we've been able to accomplish in the first year. And then just now looking at like the ability to expand that into like a YouTube channel and, you know, bringing on different speakers and learning more. Like that's the other thing for me is like, I'm also learning. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really excited.
And there's never been a point where where she felt like it was dying down. She just keeps coming with more things, like more projects. She's like, we can do this and we can do this. And, you know, she's just always been so positive and she really, really believes in this and she really believes in us.
Yes.
Which makes it really great because it's not easy to start a podcast. It's so saturated. Anybody can.
Yes.
We're shooting this. We're doing this in a living room.
Yes.
Anybody could do it. Right. Yes. But she never got discouraged. She's never, you know, and she just has big dreams and she actually wants to do this for herself and for us. You know, she wants it to grow for herself. She's not, well, maybe, I mean, it would be nice to have all this money and to be, I don't have to work. But she really has a passion for producing and coming out with more content and bringing more guests, you know, and she just loves this job.
Well, you know, you have to have a friend that's a dreamer, like that dreams, because you get ideas and most people will unintentionally shoot down your idea. And I've been reading that people unintentionally do that because they don't even see themselves doing it. And so when like sometimes you don't talk to people about like what you're dreaming because generally they'll shoot it down and then it just kind of like pushes your dream down. And so you need to talk to people that it's going to encourage your dream. One of the things that I've learned is that, you know, for example, when you open up a business, success is not that your business thrived. It's the success is that you actually tried it out. And if it didn't work, then it didn't work. But the success is actually you doing it. Whether it's successful or not, that's a different story. But the success is you actually going and doing it versus you have this dream or you have this business thought, but you never do it. Then you've already defeated yourself. So you always have to have a friend like Irene. You have to have a dreamer. 3 years from now, if we only have like, we don't hit those marks, I think it comes back to how do I feel about this? How do we feel about this? Is like, have we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish? Not just from a listener standpoint, but from our own personal need. It's not, you know, like these numbers. It's more around like, I enjoy what I'm doing. Yeah, I grew. I have a skill. I made connections. I learned. Like there's a lot of, like those are my successes. A number of listeners is just one data point. It's not the true like epitome of whether or not our podcast is successful. And that shouldn't be for anything in life, right? So I look at success a little differently.
I mean, if we were to stop tomorrow, I would have been happy with everything.
Yes.
I've gotten to travel.
Well, I'd be sad. Like if one of you guys had said like, hey, you know what? I think I've gotten what I need out of this. And, you know, I'm kind of looking at, because we all have lives outside of this. I'd be sad. But like you said, I'd be very happy of what we've done. You know, the numbers and the money, I guess, is like the icing on the top, I guess. You know what?
It doesn't even feel like a year. It's gone so fast.
Well, I can't even believe that we came out with 50 content of 50 plus episodes.
Right. So I mean, what else am I going to be doing? I'm not going to have another kid. I'm not, you know, like, I mean, this is like, I'm older now. This is my thing. And I love doing it. I look forward to doing this all the time. And there's so much that we can talk about. We'll never run out of things to talk about, right?
Yes.
There's always new content. There's always Netflix shows that we can watch. There's always something happening. I mean, I still haven't found my husband yet. So, I mean, there's still that. Maybe I'll find him in 3 years, you know, because Irene has this crazy dating segment that she wants to do with me because I refuse to go back on the dating sites. I'm not doing that again. But
no more dating sites for you?
No, I've had I've dated every single guy they tell you not to date on the web. They've always found me. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? And maybe I'm saying this now, but I'm literally just going to stay at home and just wait for the right person to find me at home. Because
you think that somebody's going to find you sitting at home?
Well, maybe Irene will help me do it.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's another thing to look forward to. She has this crazy, dating game idea. So that's another thing if you guys are very interested in my dating life. But it's been fun. Like, I've had such a good time doing this podcast. And not a lot of people know that I do it. Like, I'm not very at work. Of course I've had coworkers on, but I don't I'm just very
publicize it, right? Yeah. You're not really publicizing it.
Yeah. Because there is a lot of private things that I share.
Yeah. And, I 100% agree with you. I'm glad that we have made the year. I look back and, like I said, I'm very super proud of what we've accomplished, but I actually am super excited of what's next and what this new year is going to open up for us. It's just, again, growing. I think I'm at an age where it has to serve my growth, my spirit, my well-being, and this unexpectedly has been able to do that. So I'm really looking forward to kind of what we're going to see in the next year to come.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to going through this second season journey with you.
Yes.
And with Irene.
Yes. So listeners, if there's anything you want to see or any topics or any thoughts that you guys have, please share that with us, because we're continuing our growth. I think one of the things that I've learned is we started off as kind of a parenting podcast, but we've brought in outside of that. And I think that's really attributed to the fact that we're more than just parents, right? We have different views and perspectives and, thoughts. So listeners, if there's anything that you'd like to hear about or any additional content for us to expand on, please share that with us.
Yeah. Or even if you'd like to come on and as a guest as well, if you feel like you have something, that you'd like to share, send us a message on Instagram. We do have an Instagram, @WeTimeConvo_podcast. Follow us as well. And you guys, we're still taking ratings.
Yes.
So, rate us. I know that there's more than 9 listeners out there. Rate us, because it really, really, really helps us. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you guys for coming on this journey with us, for looking forward to our future.
Yeah.
We're really excited. Can't wait for the new year to roll out.
Yeah. And thank you, Irene.
Thank you
for believing in us.
Thank you for listening to the first season of We Time Convo. We Time Convo will be back weekly every Thursday starting September 5th, 2024.